Now we move to the revision point right after the vandalism article and its related activities. Prefixes and suffixes. Adding a prefix to the base. Here the base is, for example, vandal, as we saw here in page 22, page 6 in the main book, page 22 in the PDF. So coming back, adding a prefix to the base. Affixes added before the base form of a word, affixes added before the base form of a word are called prefixes. Prefixes do not generally alter the word class. For example, examples of prefixes are in, miss, an, re, im, ir, dis. So one example is given here. Significant is an adjective with the addition of in the front as an affix. It becomes insignificant, another adjective. And you see the meaning is contrasting as soon as right after when you have this affix in added. And some examples are here. So for each of these prefixes given here. So for instance, it could be, as you see in the note here, misinterpret, unwanted, rearrange, impossible, irresponsible, disapprove. For one example each on these prefixes. And then adding a suffix to the base. Affixes added after the base form of a word are called suffixes. Pre comes before the base, and a prefix and suffix comes after the base. Unlike prefixes, suffixes frequently alter the word class. So here in the prefix, an adjective still remains as an adjective, whereas here when you have a suffix, for instance, a noun becomes a verb. So let's take a look at what type of affixes or suffixes we're talking about. It could be adding eyes at the end, full, less, ness, fully, est, li, shen, meant, and so forth and so on. And well, you don't need to know how to pronounce the suffix itself, but you should know how to pronounce the complete word when it's used. The given example is vandal, which is a noun with IZE at the end makes it vandalize. And I have listed some examples here also for these suffixes. So vandalize, playful. Let's see if I can move this so that you see the list of the suffixes here in the book as well. So we have vandalize, playful, careless, tiredness, note cleanliness. So if this clean becomes cleanliness, you have to add a bit more than what's only ness. And successfully, taller, tallest, eagerly, beautifully, attraction, intrusion, accomplishment, performance, advantages. And you're encouraged to check for further info, for example, not limited to, but for example, this link here, this is this Wiktionary, but you can of course check any other web sources. And I post the link here in the chat if you can access it. Yes, moving on. So the sixth activity you have is to go through the passage on vandalism once again and find examples for words with prefixes, suffixes, both prefixes and suffixes. And then indicate the word class of the words you find and their base forms. Follow the example given. For instance, for prefixes pleasant, the word form, the word class, for instance, pleasant is an adjective, and with the prefix un added to pleasant, becoming unpleasant, this is still remaining as an adjective, as we saw in the earlier example. But then again, if you find a suffix, then you have to also show what the word class in the base and what happens when you add the suffix or prefix and a suffix. And the seventh activity, how would you advise someone to be a responsible citizen? Write as many instructions as possible using the following models. Follow the example given. So models can be need, ought to, must, should, can. So for example, you should always help others. And the eighth activity, write 5 sentences based on the following picture using the above models. So you see in the picture, this is a street with some busy street, you could even say. There are 2 cars already approaching the zebra crossing. And there is a little boy helping a grandma, an older elderly lady, and at the zebra crossing. So these are things you can think of even before you start writing. You should evaluate the picture and find out the keywords that relate to the picture, and then you can formulate your sentences using these models. As for instance, you don't need to be limited to this, but try to use them and anything more that you need. And activity 9, listening. You're going to listen to a set of rules to be followed by road users. Put the relevant numbers of the rules against the different types of users. Some rules are applicable to many users. Here, I encourage you to listen to the listening for activity 9 yourselves and carefully listen to it once, and then read the user types that are given here and try to listen a second time, thinking about what rules apply to each of these users, and then note down, listen the third time and try to correct what you have written again. And I have listed some keywords here that you could use and you might hear. This can be applicable to the previous 8th activity as well, where you need to explain the picture that was given. So walk, sidewalks, zebra crossing, traffic lights, road signs, speed, traffic signals, as in some examples. We will stop the lesson 1 textbook activities for now, for today at this point. And we will continue with activity 10 the next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I would encourage you to also check the audio on workbook, where I will try to help you cover corresponding activities in the workbook at the same time in the next separate video. Thank you. Bye-bye.